Works great. No more issues with the transmission. Easy fix. So today, I'm going to talk about the 2003 Ford Explorer. And a common problem you may have encountered when you get some miles on it, which I encountered on mine. And that is a weird transmission shifting problem that only seems to happen when you run the air conditioning. And mine seemed to happen when I'd get stuck in a drive-through, for example, when I had to sit somewhere for a long time with the air conditioning running. And let me describe a scenario. So it's middle of the summer, 90 plus degrees, you're running the air conditioning. You go, because of COVID-19, you can't go in a restaurant, so you sit in a drive-through. So I'm sitting in a drive-through, got the air conditioning running. I pull up to a window, I get my food, I get ready to pull away, and the truck kind of stumbles or hesitates. It's really weird. So I pull out on the road, and I give it gas, and I start moving along, and it starts bucking and huckabucking type of thing. You know, it's really odd, like, what's going on with this thing? And then it kind of clears up. It's weird. A little while later, it doesn't do it. It seems to be fine. And then kind of random, you're driving along, get a stoplight or something, you go to pull away, and it kind of does it again. It's no rhyme or reason to it. All the fluids are fine, the motor's fine. It got so bad to one point that the whole truck itself tried to kind of cut off. You know, it was really odd. Seemed like there was an electrical issue somewhere. So I did a little bit of research and come to find out on this particular body style, the early to late 2000s, they had an issue where the drain for the air conditioner is just a little spout that sticks out of the firewall. And it's right on top of the transmission, but also on the wiring harness that comes down by the side of the transmission. Well, what happens, water gets inside this harness. It can run down on top of the actual connection plug on the transmission, but also just getting the wiring harness itself does all kind of bad things. One of them being it makes the transmission kind of short out in a way. It gives it these weird signals. It can make it short out, gives it weird voltages, whatever you want to call it. It makes it not shift properly. Ergo, this is the problem. So if you don't run your air conditioner, you probably never have this problem. But if you do like I do, you run all the time, all that water, the condensation, if you will, from the air conditioner running, has to drain out on the ground. And the way Ford designed it, it's supposed to run on the transmission, I guess, and cool it off. Just a bad design, in my opinion. So what I did, I found a way to take some just standard old heater hose, 3/4 inch heater hose. You can find this at pretty much any hardware store. I think I paid less than like $9 for a 6-foot roll of 3/4 inch heater hose. And the way this works, you just cut off a small piece. You basically push this onto the little fitting that comes off the firewall, and it's a tight fit, so you gotta kind of work it and put it on there. Put a hose clamp on it, which I did. You can get the hose clamps to have a thumb adjustment. So once you get it on, put the clamp on it, turn it with your finger, your thumb, tighten it up, you're good to go. Run it like a L-shape, run it like a kind of a U-shape down so it comes off the firewall and kind of points down. And I ran mine just about to the side of the pan, took a little plastic strap and tied it to the shift cable there just to keep it from getting near the manifold. And now when it runs, it drains actually onto the ground. So no more problems. Also, they actually recommend some dielectric grease. You ever seen this? This is what it looks like. And when you pop the top off, it basically looks like clear silicone. I'll pump this out for you there. See there? It's just like clear silicone. So what you do is you just put this in between your electrical connector. So what they recommend you do on that transmission harness, it's a 10mm nut or bolt. You put a socket on it, you loosen it, you pull that connection apart, and you just squirt this, lather it all up in between the connection, put it back together, tighten it down, and what that does is it gets the moisture all out of the way so nothing can hurt the connections. It's not an adhesive, it's not like a glue, like clear silicone, so it's not gonna harden and keep you from ever getting it apart again. It just keeps all that moisture from getting in there. So I put that all on the connection. My connection actually looked pretty good. It wasn't corroded, so my bolt turned right out. Some of you may have an older one that's got a lot of miles on it, and that bolt may be hard to get out. It may be to the point that you may have to destroy it to get it out. I've seen people that have to do that. They have to cut the connector off, get it out, put a new connector on it. Mine didn't have that problem, so I just literally unscrewed it, put that dielectric grease on it, put it back together, and it was fine. So between the dielectric grease, putting this hose on it so the moisture drain on the ground, my truck runs perfectly fine now. No more shifting issues, sit to drive through all I want. The water drains on the ground. You can clearly see it, I'll show you in a second. When it's running, it puts a puddle right on the ground where it's supposed to be. So instead of that water getting in the harness now, it actually goes in the ground where it's supposed to be. So just a quick tip here, rubber hose, less than 10 bucks. The dielectric grease, I wanna say I paid less than 10 bucks for it. So let's just call it less than a $20 repair, and maybe a half hour of your time to get under there and just fit this on there. And I will tell you, it's kind of tight. You got to work your arm around it. My truck is an all-wheel drive, so it's got the shafts that run through. You've got to snake your arm around to get to it. It's not the easiest thing to get to, but put the truck up on jack stands, get up in there, you can get to it and work on it. And I want you to, I'm telling you, fixes it, it's great. So if you ever have any trouble, shifting issues, especially if you've been running the air conditioning, this is probably going to fix it. Again, it's not going to fix the solenoid problem with these transmissions and all that, but my transmission had been rebuilt with the new solenoid pack and the updated fitting, and this was just an ongoing problem. So it is inherent to the Fords. If you look it up, you can kind of find some information on it. I'll try to put some things here to help you out, and hopefully this will be beneficial. Anybody with an Explorer like this, if you bought it cheap because it had a transmission weird shifting issue, this is probably what the problem is. So good luck. Hope that helps you out. If you have any questions, let me know.